No, I don't think I have to reboot right now. That's off. Come on.
Tick tock, tick tock.
All right. So Vim in 5 minutes. Many people will need to use Vim at some point in time, whether you SSH into a machine that you've never been on before, or it's a machine you do own. You should probably know how to do basic things in Vim, like save files and quit, and not just put random garbage into this page. So what we're going to do is learn how to use Vim. So you start Vim by typing Vim. Now you're in Vim. Ta-da! First step. Your Vim probably won't look like this Vim because the normal Vim has crappy defaults. So what you should do is clone someone else's Vim files because someone else has already solved this, like me. GitHub, it's the new GitHub. All right, so now you've got your Vim file. So what you do is you clone this repo, put it in your home directory, and run make install, and it'll squirt a whole bunch of other stuff all over the file system, and then your Vim will be like my Vim. Doesn't matter. So the easiest way, right now you're in beep mode, which is also normal mode. So when you hit letters, it keeps beeping. Some people find that annoying. It's good because it tells you you're in normal mode. So when you push escape, you're now in normal mode. To go into edit mode so you can type, because right now when you type, it doesn't work unless you hit I, A, E, or one of the other many magic letters that enter edit mode. So if you're in normal mode, you hit I to go into typing mode. And down at the bottom, you'll see it says insert. That means typing. So now you can type. Hi, Mariano. You look mad. So now I've written something. So now when I'm done typing and I want to save, you can't save from insert mode. You can only type. Control and all those letters don't do things for normal people. You have to know the exact button to push. Like Control R pastes. Doesn't make sense, but that's how Vim works. So if you want to save, you have to hit escape to go to normal mode, which is also known as command mode, which is the good mode. You should spend as much time as possible in normal mode. Unless you're just learning Vim, then you'll spend a lot of time in insert mode. So to save, you hit escape to go into normal mode. You can hit escape many times and Vim will beep. That means you're in normal mode. Then you can type :W, which means save, and then Vim will say, there's no file name, you dummy. So then you have to type W and then the file name. We're going to save this on my desktop. Desktop. Woo. And then it saves the file. And now you can quit Vim because you're done editing your config file or whatever. So you can type :Q. And once you type :Q, Vim will quit. And you're free. But then you're going to go back into Vim. Oh no, we didn't put a file name in. Oh no. You can also edit a file by typing Vim and then the file you want to edit. I want to edit desktop, woo. And Vim will open with the file. This is pretty cool. Other fun things to do, J goes down. So if I had multiple lines, I'm just going to paste some lines. So if I want to go down lines, I go into beep mode. So push escape until it beeps. And then you can push J to go down. Because on most SSH hosts, the arrow keys will not work. So J goes down, K goes up. L goes to the left, because it's like your left hand. H goes the other way because it's beside the up arrow. That's all. To exit, you type escape. You hit escape until it beeps or flashes. Some terminals will flash. Flashing is good too. And you type :Q to get out. And then you're done. And I have 30 seconds.
Okay, how about quitting when you haven't saved?
Quitting when you haven't saved. If you want to not quit, you do quit bang, which means really quit, Vim.
Without saving and quitting all in one.
Without saving and quitting? Right? Oh, if you want to write and quit, you can write and quit at the same time. So if you type :WQ, it means write and then quit. And you can type bang to make it really do it, even if the file doesn't exist. And it'll be like, oh, I can't do it. So you can do WQ. Something. And you're done.
Thank you, Mark.
One other rule I forgot to mention is if you do not take the full 5 minutes, you have to dance over there so everybody can see you for the remainder of your talk.
Okay, next up, Workana. Work in your underwear and still get paid.
No, I need VGA.
Oh, come on, you could have done this for me this time.
No way. Let me get that crap out of the way.
I don't need to wear that? Okay, cool. Yeah, work in your underwear. I don't know if you tried it, but it's awesome. So the problem is that ideas are hard to implement. You know, whenever you have an idea to do something and whatever, you sort of think that you have a good idea, and then you start realizing that you need time to do it, and you need money to do it, and then you say, fuck it, I'm not gonna do it. So, or ends up being really bad. So my suggestion to you is to start outsourcing everything, like all the things. You know, programming, yeah, you can outsource programming. I know we are programmers, but there's some stuff in programming that we don't care about doing because either we don't know or we are too lazy to do. So you can outsource that. You can outsource graphic design, whatever. You can outsource architecture. Like I'm trying to build an office in the back of my house, in my garden, and I sort of have no idea, and I don't want to hire an architect to do the plans and everything and to figure out how to do it. So I'm actually hiring someone through an outsourcing platform to do that for me. And yeah, you can outsource gifts. One of my partners actually is too lazy to even decide what to you know, what to give people on their birthday, so he just made a list of people and their possible interests, and someone is deciding the gifts for him. So that means that you have to hire a freelancer to do that. But a freelancer is not exactly, you know, what you normally think they are. It's not a fat man in a basement on their underwear. Well, some of them are. So yeah, you can hire freelancers to do whatever you want, but sometimes things can actually go wrong. I have no idea. The only reason why this guy is here is because I was looking for a picture of a judge, and I realized that this guy is named Christopher Judge, so I figured, okay, it works as well. SG1 is a really good series, just, you know, pros for it and whatever. So yeah, things can go wrong. So that's probably one of the main reasons people don't like to outsource stuff or hire someone. Fortunately, and this is not a sales pitch at all, right? We created Workana. This is an outsourcing platform, mainly focused in Latin America because, you know, there's a reason why CakeDC, I think, is 90% Latin people right now. Yeah, isn't it? Like 90% or 80% people from Latin America in CakeDC. It's because we rock, you know. And if you are looking for someone to do something, then you should be looking into Latin America. How am I doing on time? You should have a timer here. Oh, fuck, okay. I'm not gonna end up dancing. So anyway, we created this so you can do all the shit that I said that you can outsource, including adding namespace support to Cake, that it doesn't work. Namespace doesn't work in Cake, do not work. So if you're trying to get that fixed, you can hire someone to do it for you. And you can get a good price at it. So yeah, it's an outsourcing platform, which means you post something that you need done. Again, anything, whatever is you're looking to do, and you get a lot of, you know, people posting and saying, I can do this for X, Y, and Z. And like I said, shit can go wrong. So the security that you have is that you have an arbitration system. So if something goes wrong between you and the person you hire, you can hold off payment until that situation, you know, can get fixed and whatever. It's so cool that we ourselves use Workana to build stuff for Workana through Workana with our user Workana. It's a recursion that can, you know, blow off your head. Anyone know what that picture is from? If you do, you get a beer from me for free. Oh, cool. It had to be you. It had to be you. So just for the beer, you probably Google in like record time. So yeah, I mean, we use Workana for a lot of stuff. Actually, the joke that I included in the very beginning, whoa, here, stop, advance, bullshit. Okay, this was actually hired through Workana. We found like whoa, fuck, what happened? Are you pressing it? Anyway, so yeah, use it, whatever. You get a promo code. You can spend up to $100, 50% discount. So imagine all the stuff that you can build. Again, namespaces support for Cake. Thank you. No, you can tell that.
Okay, next up, framework wars.
Oh, that sounds.
It might be. I might be okay. Okay, framework wars. Are we there? No. Basta.
Make sure you plug it in before you turn it off.
Press Control Alt Delete.
No, I'm serious. That's what I had to do this morning to get to it.
You have to restart the 13
It's 11.
Did you buy it since like they refreshed them in June?
No, I bought it ages ago. I haven't even saved it. Well, at least I don't.
Close it down. We'll do someone else.
Close it down?
I'll call you down.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Make sure if you've got MacBooks that you're turned off, so when you come up here, you turn on, and we get the. Next one, CRUD component, a plugin to keep your controllers dry. Jose. Not yet. Okay. Cake interpreter. You are ready for that one?
How many of you have used Ruby before? Python? Do you know the Ruby interpreter? You do? It's kind of awesome because you say IRB, so you say one.next, and it prints awesome stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of stupid. But I built something for Cake based based on this, just for fun. And it's called the Cake Interpreter. It's a plugin. It installs some stuff in console. You start it with console CPI. So you enter in interpreter mode. And you can do awesome stuff like this, like m equals, can you hold the mic, please? M equals class tab registry product. Class registry init. There you go. So I can debug my model, and that works. And maybe I can do m find all, and that works. Awesome. I can debug A. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, it is. But it's actually quite a good guy for you if you're learning CakePHP, so you can hit tab for any class. Or for example, any class starting with C, tab. So you have everything in CakePHP plus PHP that start with C, like cake time. So cake time format 2012 101. Yeah, that's it. In just the year. Yeah, that's kind of stupid, but that's how it works. Obviously, you cannot do things like one.next because that's not how PHP works. But you can do like, do you want to know if a string position that always gets me? Like, I don't know how string position works. But yeah, you can just hit tab and it will tell you exactly what are the parameters. Or you can do cake time format. Well, it doesn't actually know what the parameters are, so bad luck for me. But for any PHP function that you have installed, it should tell you the params, such as, I don't know, array, inter. I have trouble remembering these PHP functions. Like, it's array intersect key, key intersect. It has underscores, so I just do all the array functions, please. So you have them all there. So it's actually intersect key, and it's needle, haystack, needle, I don't know. So it just tells you for you. I think that's it. The plugin is available at this plugin. Come on. Where is the plugin? The plugin's available at plugin. I don't know what it is. Awesome. Plugins. It just works. It's magic. Awesome. It's not a plugin. But I do have it somewhere. It's in github.com cake interpreter or something like that. Do I have time? Oh yeah, a minute. So we can just talk about it, that there's a plugin called Cake Interpreter. It's somewhere. Somewhere. Apparently some will just interpret. Oh, it's interactive shell. Oh, come on, I don't even know the name of the plugin. So here it is. It's nose agency / cake interactive shell. You can just install it. It's only two command line away. You just have to load the plugin called install and then console CPI. And here's a nice screenshot that I didn't know you can have screenshots in README, so that's kind of awesome. So thanks all for listening. Goodbye.
Richard? So Richard's going to talk about the color blue. My question is, if we put Corey in front of the screen, will we see him? Gabe's going to talk about mug heaps. Mug heaps? Talk us about mug heaps.
Okay, we are in a war. And what war is that war that we're in? We are in a framework war. The framework war is, I wish I had my slides, but I don't. But there's Symfony, there's Zen Framework, there's Lithium, there's CakePHP, and there's a ton of other shit PHP frameworks, of course, that you say. So which one do you choose? Do you have to choose one? What are you going to do? So I think that we need just to stop learning frameworks. We need to stop learning PHP. And we need to learn software development. So, how are we going to take this? It's not fun without slides, is it? No. Bollocks. I'm just going to give up. I could just put my laptop up there. Everyone can put their glasses on, especially on this computer, because it's tiny. You can go and buy a new... Thanks for the troll comment, Savant. Okay. So there you are, we're in a war. All those frameworks. The grass is greener on the other side, isn't it? Hey, look at that. But fuck, you just get stuck sometimes, don't you? Have you ever been in that position? I'm in that position right now. But I'd like some of these frameworks to get together and show each other a bit of love. But they're not going to, are they? Because I keep on getting the shit beat out of me. And then there's the deceived. The deceived are WordPress, Drupal, Joomla. But we all end up a slave. You're a slave. You're a slave to your framework. I think we all look like this, don't we? This guy. So what is great is namespaces. Namespaces means that we no longer just have to choose. We've got Composer, which means we don't just still have to choose. But miracles do happen. Look at what happened. Drupal, Symfony, amazing. So stop learning frameworks. Stop learning PHP. Learn Rails. No, that's not the point. No, learn software engineering. Become this guy. I think we all look like him anyway. Learn Java. Learn JavaScript. Learn apps. Screw learning. Have a great idea. Build it. Make money. And contribute to CakePHP.
Okay, next up is debugging on Orchestra.
By the way, it's deploying, but it just shows
Deploy.
how bad my handwriting is.
Deploying on Orchestra.
Okay, so I work for Engineered, who own the product Orchestra, and I'm just really going to quickly run through deploying an app onto Orchestra. I've rather bravely decided to try and deploy CakePHP, so I hope this works because I haven't tested it yet. So essentially, our deploy process is based off a Git repo. This is in my GitHub at the moment, I hope. So there's one small change that you need to make if you're running Cake on Orchestra, and that's to change the cache path if you're using the file caching system. And also, when you're deploying, the most important thing here is set your index file right. It's amazing how many people don't. And with any luck, this will deploy. Okay. That's not too bad an error. Yeah, go figure. Anyway, so, yeah, so while that's doing that, I will call up Cake. And this, nope. This is just your bootstrap.php file in your config directory. And you'll see here that the cache config, all you need to change is the path. You need to add on you need to add on path into the array. I just use sysgetTempDir to grab the temporary directory. Now, with any luck, okay, well, I will just try and deploy from master because that should work still. But if not, oh well. So yeah, it's a relatively simple process. At the moment, I'm deploying a basic app, which is an application that runs on a single app server. So anyway, that's probably not going to work for the entirety of this talk. But anyway, I'm currently deploying a basic app which runs on a single app server. If you go elastic, we scale up as your app gets more traffic. So if your app peaks at over 70% CPU for more than 2 minutes, it'll just add another 2 app servers, and hopefully your app will scale to handle the traffic. A few gotchas that we quite frequently bump into is, A, you can't write to the file system, which means that, well, any images and that have to be stored in S3. 2, you don't have SSH access, which a lot of people have a thing about, but it means that it can get into an inconsistent state when it scales. And 3, we don't yet have composer support, which annoys a lot of people in the community, but we are planning on releasing that very soon. So if you are deploying, keep an eye out for that. That's pretty much it. How long do I need to dance for? So yeah, just caching is the most important thing. We recommend our Elastic and basic apps have APC installed. So if you're using an Elastic app, please change this to APC, and it will definitely work, I hope. If not, we also have... no, it doesn't on the free account. And also, if you need help while you're deploying, there's this nice little widget down here. I'm one of the people who staff that, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 GMT. If you're having a problem, hop on there and ask a question. We're always up for helping people out, and if documentation needs to be written, we'll write it. I said to people earlier that we have documentation on CakePHP. We don't. I will write that this evening. And that's 5 seconds of dancing.
Okay. Next up, code review. No laptop, very bold.
All right, I have no presentation prepared, but I'm going to talk about a subject that I personally hate, code review. I hate when somebody actually review my code. Therefore, we need it. We need to have code review to ensure quality. It's good why? If you get another developer to take a simple look at your code, he can see stuff that you might miss. He can see stuff that will probably avoid bad things to happen when it goes to the deployment to production. Things that if your code gets to production and the QA team for some good reason haven't found, take PHP parser for another good reason haven't found, will not break the entirely freaking site. So when you have the code review, another developer, usually a senior or a team lead, checking code, you can find better solutions, better logic. You can usually ensure quality, and that gains time. Time in a management perspective is pretty good in general. And on the other hand, it's pretty bad. If you're a proud developer, just like I am, I'm proud of every code I put on, it bites your butt every single time. There's no way. You get mad, you get sad, depressed, or whatever it needs to be. But in general, it's a necessary thing. So in resume, if you don't do code review right now on your application, you should. And you should enforce it to do every single developer. It teaches 2 things: ensures quality for both the developer and the person that is reviewing, and also it shares the content of whatever the developer is working with one more person, so you're not bound to that. You're not bound to if the guy leaves the office or something like that. It's only him that knows that part, that piece of the code. And 2.5 minutes of dancing. I'm not a Zoom instructor. That's pretty bad.
No, you do code review.
Huh?
How do you do code review?
Actually, at Zumba right now, it's pretty flexible. We have like, I'm a senior. I see something that goes on a Git commit. I say, that's pretty bad. I just do the code review. We put a comment on Git and returns back to us. And the developer has to accept that and do it. Or go in discussion, just do what's the best for that piece of code in the moment. Or the project leader say, no, that's bad. I'm not going to do that. This is the better solution. That's how you should do it. But in general, that saves us a lot of time and avoids a lot of issues with the customer and the client on the end.
Are you using any specific tools for that?
No, eyes only, and GitHub.
Oh, so like doing GitHub pull requests?
Yeah, put comments on GitHub. Everybody receives the comments. So the code review is very, very public.
Have you tried anything like Garrett or Fabricator?
No.
You're trying to make it so you don't have to dance.
No, I'm trying, so I can see that. Thanks for your help, by the way. Like, no. No. It's terrible, but
But you must know how to dance.
me? No, believe me, no. I can dance even without.
You can donate your time. You can donate your time to the next talk. If you
Yeah,
want. Okay.
sure.
So, next up, server host ID without insecurity.
This is actually not a very long talk. I wrote that before I realized there would be a 5-minute minimum and maximum. But okay, so sometimes you have your code is deployed across multiple hosts. It's spread out everywhere where you can't, you don't know exactly which server it is that is responding to the request. And sometimes, thank you, sometimes you are integrating with other departments, other groups, and what do you know? They write code and they can't figure out where they put it. So it's handy to have in the response of each response that comes back, HTTP, you put it in the header, and it will give you a little. I know that you can see like IP address or something, but sometimes that's obscured by either a load balancer or what have you, or sometimes they're in a cluster, and sometimes you don't want the. Oh my goodness. Sometimes you don't want to announce the host names that you have internally out to the world. And so you just put yourself a little, let me see if I can find an example here without totally, my goodness, this is huge. It's like I'm never going to find something in this. Wow.
Get up here and just play Counter-Strike for 5 minutes. Somebody had Battlefield.
Let's see if I can grab an edge of this. And I can not mirror. Oh, okay, now I can see. All right, now. I'm going to head on this one.
I think you don't want to dance. Is that it?
Okay, so you see this? You see this right here, this little aha header. This is just the way I've called it. You could obviously call it anything you want to, but let me grab this URL and show it to you on. This is backwards. Show it to you on Chrome where there's an inspector. Oh, this one. Let's put it right there. And it's nice and speedy. And we can see in here that every one of these HTTP request and response, you can see in the response headers. I don't know if you can see this down here at the very bottom. There's one that says XAHA, and that's handy when you have different hosts responding and you want to know which one it is that's actually giving me this response, because this is not what I expected to see, and somebody needs to go fix their code. So when that response comes back after the layers of it being obscured, you can identify where it actually came from without saying, without announcing to the world that this is whatever server name that's on the inside that you don't want everybody to be able to know or try to hack. So that's your that's probably the least interesting of the things I had offered here, but there you go.
You can donate time if you want to next talk.
Okay, sure.
Okay, thanks. Next up, Mark is going to talk about Mark. Has Mark gone? Mark's not talking about Mark. Sometimes it's not implemented.
On the text. This talk is based on a true story. This is the situation. There was a Wednesday afternoon, I remember. I was working on a client project, and I get a Skype message from the client saying that, hey, we got a new email server. It's a email server I'm just using, and it's a Exchange 2012 server. So do you think it's very complicated to just get the email working on that? We already have a CakePHP application, so it was fine it should be good to have the email working right now. Okay, what was my answer? No problem. Will be done by today, probably. So fail. I was first thinking, why it's not working? I spent several hours trying to make that work, and after that, those several hours, I was trying to figure out why was my config wrong. Start doing a lot of things with my config, doing a lot of things, trying to debug what the error was. Am I using the right thing? Am I using the right tool to access that Exchange server? Is the server working? I was starting to debug the server. Okay, it was sending email. I sent about 1,000 emails, test emails to whatever accounts to check it if it was sending email or not. And after that, what the fuck is going on? I spent a lot of hours trying to figure out why it was not working. Because I swear that I see somewhere that it was already implemented in the SMTP class. So I never thought it was not implemented. I just thought it was there. I thought it was there, and I swear that I see that was implemented already. So I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how was that going wrong with my code, because I thought it was there. And after that, I realized that it was not implemented at all. So this is only a talk to say you that maybe what you're trying to do is not there, okay? Because I found that spending a lot of hours trying to do this thing, and well, it simply was not there. So I spent a little more of time fixing it and contributing to the core. And I'm happy because it was accepted. I'm very proud of it. And okay, now it's there. But if you find that situation again, take a look, because the core is CakePHP framework is very extensive, and maybe all that features are already there. But maybe there's a tiny little bit of code that is missing, and it could be a good contribution for the future. Okay. I've got 1 minute. So, any question? Well, it's a simple, it's a byte of code. It's not very important. But the talk is not about the feature. The talk was about I would die, or I would swear that the code was working and my config was wrong. So take care with that, because maybe you think is there, but it is not.
I would like to add that sometimes figuring out what is wrong with any code is actually digging into CakePHP and put some debugs to see what's happening. That's what I actually do sometimes. I actually don't put debugs on my code, but in CakePHP core, so to see what is happening. So how far can you get to the root of the problem? If only you would have spared those hours.
Yes.
Okay. You also would probably save a lot of time if you just sent your aha header in response.
Yeah. Next time.
So now we're going to learn the 10 commandments of designing web services. Who's going to teach us that? Have you submitted any more talks? Are these all your talks?
Yeah, all the rest of them are mine. Larry said submit more. Okay, so we've all had to deal with somebody that was generating code for us, and they couldn't find out where to correct their HTML garbage that they were offering us, and they wanted us to, can you just skin it? Can you just make it look better? And it doesn't need skinning, it needs scraping. So I've come up with the 10 commandments of designing these things for those people. And can you hold that? Actually, this is not going to look good up there anyway.
Then if you just want to read these out.
I am the data. Thou shalt have no other code beside me. Thou shalt not use a style attribute, nor any appearance-related similarity. Thou shalt not make for yourselves idle markup, nor table elements for layout purposes, nor shall you engrave any images therein. You get all these C data things, and they try to stick stuff into it, or putting things where they don't belong. Commandment number 3, thou shalt not take my namespaces or ID attributes in vain. Number 4, remember the timestamp attribute to keep it holy and globally accurate. Number 5, honor thy selectors. that thy class attributes may be long, and that it may be well between thy colleagues and thee. Use real field names and as many class values are objectively pertinent. Number 6, thou shalt not muddy water with undocumented abbreviations and subjective names that nobody understands. Number 7, thou shalt not commit unadulterated code to the repository with mismatched opening and closing tags. Is this not ringing true with anybody? Has anybody never had to deal with any web service people? Seriously? Everybody's looking at their Facebook. Commandment 8, thou shalt not hard code or set in steel any markup that may change in the next X years. Number 9, thou shalt not bear false formats by offering any humanized data in lieu of a true unique ID. Number 10, thou shalt not cover your neighbor's ass who has deviated from these commandments. And thou shalt love structuring thy error response as thy success response. Sometimes we see that people they only think about success response, and it looks good and it responds in the proper format, and then you turn around and you say you get an answer from Jersey, and Jersey says, oh yeah, everything's great, and it gives you your JSON back, and then if for whatever reason it can't find something, then now it's going to give you plain text, which you can't parse. So, in other words, always keep data and presentations separate. Never mix them on the back end. Let a consuming layer decide and render the appearance. Just the facts, ma'am. Tell these people that are designing the web service, or if you are the person who's designing it, don't generate a whole document. A web service shouldn't assume anything about the rendering intent or the appearance. Stick to pure data, structure it well, label it liberally, so that when someone is going to consume it, maybe it's you, when someone is going to consume it, you can key things off of the labels that you're using, the class names or whatever you're going to wrap it with, but don't assume markup. Yeah, obviously avoid font, color tags, inline styles, all that crap. Sanitize all your input parameters as though your web service is about to be attacked by marauding mobs of smart hackers. Again. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Next up, soap made simple again. Soap. Soap.
It's okay. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. Mr. Corey Fowler. Do we know? Corey, present? Corey?
It's just gone. Corey.
Corey!
Corey.
Windows, please help. I guess I'm the only one using Windows here, so. How did you put on the external Windows P. Sorry? Windows P? Windows P. Okay.
Interesting.
I'm on remote. Doesn't matter?
Oh, you're on a remote.
Look.
Yeah, get back to your...
See that? Sorry.
That's right.
So, how many time do I have left? I'll start. I'll start the talk. I'm going to explain a plugin I have on my GitHub account, and it's WSDL. Go bigger. Well, it's not bigger than this. Where's my... Oh, I can't switch. Okay, we'll work like this. SOAP made simple again. Yeah, well, they started with the S, so the S stands for simple. Oh, sorry, I will use this one. The S stands for simple. It's now made simple again. I'm not gonna do live coding. The plugin has a shell. I already ran the command. You run the cake WSDL command shell. You enter in the URL of SOAP. Well, the URL where you want to place the lib file. It creates a lib file, and you need to copy that to your configuration. I hope I can get it fixed. Oh, this is hard to work with. Okay, in the database file, you create the config using the source that's included. What you just did with the shell, sorry, it creates all the classes based off the URL you just entered. This is created then. I can use that in a model. I just set the weather source I configured. I now have a weather controller created, and I can just call the function. All the functions get defined as classes with properties. You can preset, like zip is string. You can enter a default or leave it empty or whatever. It just bakes all the classes for all the functions in SOAP. Just made a index function, quick one, and I will show you what will happen. You have output within a minute. Just Googled for public SOAP service. I took the first one I found. It's this one, the weather. Well, we all know this. This is a pretty small one. This is the debug I had commented out of the response. And I made an index file. Uh-oh, battery is running dead. So I did this just in 5 minutes. Created a class map of based off the WSDL file. So it's made a little bit more simple again. That's all.
Okay. Next up, locations, humanizing without losing automation. That's not you, Brett, is it?
Yeah, actually.
It is? Tips for high traffic sites.
So I also don't have slides, no time. So I give some tips, like we work in a company that has a lot of traffic in our site, and some things help our site but can help all the sites because it's small things sometimes and it's improved a lot and you can save money sometimes. So first thing, the basic is API code cache, like at least APC you need to have. It's simple to install. You can install with PCL or apt-get, yum, whatever system you are using. It's pretty simple to install. And just one configuration that is pretty cool is the stat. So by default, APC come with this feature enabled, but it means it's look the file if the file has permission, modified, everything before run the code from memory. So if you are in production, usually you don't change the code. unless the company is not nice. So the idea is disable in production, and then when you deploy, we will clear the APC cache. You can do manually or restarting the web servers or whatever. So second thing is also cache. View cache in CakePHP has support to view cache. You can use it, or you can use Varnish. You can use a lot of tools to do view caches. And other kind of cache is cache data. So we can cache like reads from database, and using main cache, APC, or any other this cache stuff. Usually people like to use the same machine, but when you have a distributed system, it's better to have a network using just one main cache to share it between the hosts. Otherwise, if you don't have stick sessions, you can get like one user has one page. When he refreshes the page, he gets something else different, or old data, or more recent. So it sucks for the user experience. But some things like you have a cache for things don't change in one day. You can kind of put a local main cache or APC, just a local cache, and replicate this in out of the box. Other thing, HTTP headers. So HTTP supports like 304 that's not modified. So Lorenzo's talked today about that. So how to use and implement these things. It's very useful because your servers don't need to render the view again, and also it's don't have network between your server and the client. Well, a small portion just for the headers. And it saves time for the user and saves time and CPU, memory, everything for your servers. So you don't need a lot of servers to that. Other things is like cluster, of course. You need to have multiple web apps using shared main cache or caches. It's scaling like horizontally, not vertical. So you don't need to have a lot of memory, a lot of CPU, but you can have multiple servers. It's pretty good. Search engines, I guess Mark will be talking tomorrow about that. And you have Solar, you have Slice Cache. Amazon has their own service. They have a couple of servers you can use for searches, mostly. That search sometimes take a while from your DB, so you save the resource from the DB for other things. Another topic is DB replication. You can have like master, slave, and then you can do some reads from slaves instead of the master, so you keep the master to inserts, deletes, or other operations that change. You can, like, one very important thing, monitor your server. So if everything's fine, if you need to scale the servers or have auto-scaling from, like Amazon has auto-scaling servers, or Azure, I guess, has as well, right? No, auto-scaling. Yeah. So you can auto-scale the servers. So it's good to keep your servers going without changing anything. You don't need to wake up 1 a.m. to just add another node in your cluster. JavaScript, if you don't need, time out. Okay, so this is.
Okay, thanks, Juan. We got one last talk, which is Brett's third. Do you want to give it? And we'll close with that. Does anyone have any last minute lightning talk? Nope.
Has anyone ever tried to do something with locations and found that users want to see things with the locations that are near each other? So, for example, they'll try to sort something, and it's not very meaningful because it's not location and it's not geopolitical. It's going to put Aberdeen next to Abu Dhabi, next to Austin, Texas, and you're not going to get anything meaningful out of that. Of course, all the Austins are going to be together and all the Aberdeens are together, but still, it would be a lot more useful if you could see things that are near each other. So one way that I approached that situation was to put the highest level geopolitical areas as the abbreviation. The ISO, what is it, 6639, I believe, is the abbreviations for the countries. And I use those abbreviations, and then with just a dot notation, put anything you want after that. You can put either an airport code like the IATA, or you can put, we use states in America. We use a two-character code for states, and so then that could be a meaningful sub-administrative area. Or maybe say you're in something like Italy, you don't care necessarily about having sub-administrative areas, you just go straight to the city. And so then it would be, say for Lombardy, it would be it.lombardy. And that would be meaningful because then you can sort on that, and you can also break it back apart. If you do something like, in PHP, that there are the time zones, and I don't know if anybody's noticed, has anybody's used that or noticed the way that those time zones are coded, but I think that's a very useful way to code things, and that's the way my goodness, still can't get this thing plugged in. It's a really useful way to see those things, to represent locations. So, should have done all of this at once. If I was going to be talking all three, I should just stay up here so I don't have to fiddle with this LCD thing. Okay. Well, it would be handy if you could see that, but I think you might be able to just imagine that you've got the country code, dot, and then whatever abbreviation optionally that you want. You can break it apart into other ones if you wanted to, and then a city after that. So once you have that, you can use that as a key, because probably what you've done, what I did anyway, was to start storing locations, and then you can do things like latitude and longitude, or connect them to regions and contexts of regions, so that the sales group can divvy up the world into their 10 areas that they deal with, and somebody else can say, well, we do surveys based on these 4 areas of the world, and so they carve the globe up differently. And you end up, as a data guy, you end up putting your locations and storing them with like a numeric ID or something, which that in itself is not very useful. Yeah, it's unique and that's great, but you need something else that's unique and useful, which is where this other style of location notation comes in. If you can use something you're going to guarantee that it's unique for that location, so then you can use it in your database as a key, and you can also use it to sort off of, and you have all of the things that are in England come together, whether or not they start with A, they all group together with England things because they all say gb.eng.aberdeen, as opposed to having a location that says something like 104. Well, does that make sense? Any comments or ideas about how it's been done differently? That oh yes, there's certainly ways to filter it if it's all in separate fields. Yes. What about if you have to generate? What if you have to generate for someone an Excel file or something that they're no longer on your web app? Mm-hmm. That's their problem. Okay. Fair enough.
Okay, so thanks, Brett. So thank you everyone who submitted and spoke. This is very intimidating, I know, so thank you. We've actually finished this earlier than expected. This is supposed to go on until 6 o'clock. We're only at 5:30. Is there anyone else who wants to get up here and do something that they're going to regret? Or something that we're all going to remember? Okay, so we've got a break now. Drinks are on Larry until 7 o'clock when we've got a dinner that is included in the ticket. So I don't know if anyone wants to say anything. If not, then we can just go off to the break. Larry, do you want to add anything?
We're going to do the break now. If anybody wants out, I can put it's our cat now.
Okay. Okay.